Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back. If you're a returning viewer or subscriber, today's video is going to be a TBR jar picks my reads for the month of December. I am so sorry about this lighting, this setup, this angle. Everything is off. A, my window's here and there's no natural light coming from my left or in front of me. B, the floor slopes, so these bookcases are going like this, which means that I can't get an angle where the shelves look even. So it's just all a disaster behind me, and plus the lighting sucks. So don't know what I'm going to do to fix it. You'll have to bear with me while we kind of like get things figured out, but I'm thinking that maybe in the new year I might ditch the TBR jar videos. I don't know. If you still want to see them, let me know. Otherwise I'll just film normal TBRs, and obviously I can film that in a different location of my room. Unfortunately, the setup I have currently with my bookshelves means that I can't use natural light basically, and I don't have any artificial lighting. So for now, this is what we've got, but let me know what you think about the TBR jar videos and whether you enjoy them, and I will keep doing them if there's enough like response, you know, like enough requests to keep going with them. I've just been putting so much pressure on myself to do TBR jar videos because obviously you guys like to see them from what I can gather, and I'm prioritizing that over my own reading, I feel like, because in reality I think I just prefer to like set like a big TBR and then just read from it. So we could do TBR jar videos where I pick a bigger selection of books, but then I also feel pressure not getting to the books. I don't know, there's this whole thing, but today's video is TBR jar video, so I'm gonna shut up about that and then we'll get on into December's reading. If you watched my end of the year book tag, you'd already know this, but in December and throughout the November as well, I've actually been trying to just finish a bunch of books in the middle of. I was in the middle of like 8. I've been like pretty successful with it, which is kind of surprising, but I've been kind of like holding myself accountable, and I feel like I've narrowed down my currently reading list pretty well. But having said that, I still want to be finishing a bunch of books before the end of the year, so I do need to focus on past reads, which means I think I'm only going to be picking out like 4 or 5 books depending on how I'm kind of feeling and what we pick out. But here's a TBR jar. Let's just get straight into it. I want some really good prompts. Actually, you know what? I'm going to quickly run through the couple of books I pulled from my shelves that I definitely want to fit on the TBR. First of all is Eileen. I mentioned this again in the end of the year book tag. This is set across the Christmas season. It's like a literary kind of thriller from Tessa Mosfeg, who wrote the famous like My Year of Rest and Relaxation book, as well as that Vona, which I really love. So I'm excited to read some more Mosfeg, and this one I feel like has to be read across December. The other book I have is A Curse of True Love by Stephanie Garber. This is the third and final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, which I've been making my way through throughout the year. So it'd be really nice to finish off the series. I've been kind of putting this off, these reasons I won't get into, but I will be picking this up hopefully in December because I would just love to get the series done. I'm also intrigued to like find out what happens. Those are the 2 books on the TBR. I'm gonna put them back on the shelf and then we will pick our first prompt. I'm just going to lean Eileen up there because it doesn't fit right now, but let's just get going. Prompt number 1. I really want a closed one so that we can get like one that's maybe new. Let's go with this. Same vibe as the last song I listened to. I was just listening to a podcast, so I don't know how I can work out what the last song I was listening to was. It's like Miles Kane. It might have been Miles Kane. I think it would have been. I don't know what it was though. Was it Come Closer? I don't remember what song was I listened to. So what we could do is pick a music book. That could be kind of fun. So I feel like we could go with this book, which I've been recently wrecked by a friend. Close, 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 Music, 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 Boys, Boys, Boys by Viv Albertine, which is a music memoir. I love these books so much, music memoirs. And I'm excited to read this one because this is one of my friend's favourite books, and it's also a book that I have just been so intrigued by for many, many years. I think that this might be a nice kind of palette cleanser amongst fantasy reads and other stuff like that. A lot of the books I'm trying to get through at the moment are big, thick fantasies, and we want to add Curse of True Love to the TBR, so I feel like this might be a nice kind of palette cleanser. So we'll choose that for a book that matches the same vibe as the song I listened to, because I don't know what the song was and I don't want to skip the prompt. Okay, prompt number 2. My friend will be really excited that I picked that one. A book with a map we've got, which is perfect because I think I can do A Curse of True Love. Yep, this series has the most beautiful maps in the front of every single book. Look how beautiful that is. One of my favourites for sure in terms of like book maps. Let's just get Eileen, and then I don't really care what we get beyond that. Okay, we'll go with this one. Is this 2? No, it's 1. Okay. A book that was gifted to me. Okay, Eileen wasn't gifted to me because I bought it for myself from the charity shop. I've got quite a lot of options here. I've got lots of gifts. People have been very generous over the years. But what I think we could do for this is actually The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. This is another series I feel like I could finish off this year. I read the first book last year, but this book came out this year in like February or something, and I haven't got to it yet. Plus these books feel like December to me because they often come out either like in December or in the new year. Gifted to me by my mum. She pre-ordered it for me as a Christmas gift last year. So that is, I think, what we're going to pick for a book that was gifted to me. I'm really excited to finish that as well. And thankfully these books are quite short. The first book is The Stolen Heir, it's a duology, and I liked that, but I didn't love it. I have a reading blog where I actually took you through the experience of reading that one, which I can have linked in the cards. Prompt number 4, and then we might choose a 5th depending on, you know, what this is. I'm not sure though, because I do want to get through those books I'm in the middle of. A literary fiction. Oh my goodness, that's so perfect. We're 100% going to do Eileen. No questions asked. Yeah, okay, so those are our prompts. I might cap it at 4, but what I will do is when I tell you what all these books are about in the next clip, I'm also going to run through all the books I'm in the middle of, which I'm also going to be reading throughout December as well. So our first prompt was for a book that matches the same vibe as the last song I listened to. Because I couldn't find the last song I listened to, I just chose a music book, and that is Close, 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 Music, 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 Boys, Boys, Boys by Viv Albertine. This one follows Viv Albertine, who was the lead singer in the Slits. No. She was the guitarist in the hugely influential all-girl band The Slits, and this is her like memoir of that journey. And this was during the 70s and beyond, so it's kind of like about women within music, particularly women instrumentalists. I feel like there's such a thing. It was okay to be like a woman singer, but to be a woman like guitarist or a drummer or whatever it was, you were like looked down upon by other people within the same field as you. So I feel like this is going to be quite a feminist read, but also just like about Viv's journey in music in general, in terms of like the rise and fall of the band and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to try this one, and like I said, my friend loves this one, so I'm really excited to speak to her about my feels. For a book with a map, we chose A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber, which is the third and final book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I can't tell you obviously what's written on the back of here in case you haven't read the first 2 books, but the first book follows Evangeline. She's completely in love with this guy. It turns out he is marrying someone else. I think that's what it is. Because she is like distraught about this, she goes to the Prince of Hearts, who's Jax, and she begs that he kind of like intervenes and like saves this situation, which he does, but obviously there are terms that come with his help. Evangeline just like embarks on this crazy journey alongside Jax to kind of fulfill the things that he requires in order to help her out, because he does immediately help, but he also does things in like a way that's a bit, you know, not exactly how Evangeline wanted it to happen. The end of book 2 had this big plot twist. There was this very dramatic thing that happened. I'm really intrigued to see like how this book starts and like where we're going to be, because I feel it was really upsetting, and it's also kind of like made things very difficult for our characters. So that's the second book. It'd be so good to finish that series. For a book that was gifted to me, I chose The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. Again, the final book in a series, but this is a duology actually. Like I said, the first book was not my favourite thing in the world, but I still love Holly Black's like Fae World. The original Folk of the Air trilogy is one of my favourite series of all time. It's like 5 stars all round. I adore it, and like I said, it's so perfect for this time of year, so I'm really excited to kind of like go back into that world a little bit. We've got another amazing map in this one, which I can show you. Such a cool world, and I love the illustrations. Really excited to get to this, and I'll definitely let you know my thoughts on this and how it compares to the first book. The first book follows this girl called Ren. She teams up with Prince Oak, who is actually in the Folk of the Air series, the original trilogy, and they go on this journey to basically, it's like a quest. So if you like kind of traveling questy fantasy books, this series is probably quite a fun one for you. I like that aspect, but you know, like I just prefer the world of Alfheim. I think that's the main thing, and this one's kind of going all over the place, so I still think I'm going to enjoy this. I just don't think it's going to be my favourite thing in the world, but hopefully it's better than the first book, although I haven't heard many reviews at all about the second one, so I might just go into it kind of blindly in terms of not letting anyone else's opinions influence my read and see how I get on with it. And then lastly, for a literary fiction book, I was able to squeeze in Eileen, which I'm so excited about. So it's set across the Christmas season, like I said, definitely Eileen and her kind of like infatuation with this girl called Rebecca, and I think things just kind of escalate out of control. I think that this is really bleak, like really dark, and like suits the colder, darker months in terms of like its tone and its vibe. Yeah, psychological thriller, rippling with comedy, as black as a raven's wing. So I think this could be quite an unusual read. Hopefully not too dark and horrible, but I'll let you know what I think again. I might read this one kind of like early December, even though it's like Christmas themed, just because I kind of want the cozier fantasy books for around the actual Christmas season. And then I also might squeeze in Spectacular if I'm kind of feeling that, which is the novella which follows the Caraval series, but it's like a Christmas special. I love the Caraval series. I'm excited to see that book and get to it at some point. I know I will for sure get to it eventually, but I'm not sure whether that'll be this year or maybe next Christmas. We'll see. And then in terms of books I'm in the middle of If We're Villains. That's my kind of like main focus right now. 200 out of 400 pages into that. No spoilers, but like I'm obsessed. Then I'm in the middle of The Name of the Wind. I'm about a quarter of the way through this. I'm really enjoying this as well. Aiming to get it done by the end of the year. That's an epic like adult fantasy book. I'm also in the middle of this collection of essays by Eve Babbitt's I Used to Be Charming, the rest of Eve Babbitt's, and I have only this much left. Like I'm on page 297, and this book has 433 pages, so I really have like just over 100 pages left of this book, so I feel like this is gonna be fine. I can squeeze that one in. I've also pulled this big boy back out. This is Crescent City 2, House of what is it called? Salt, what was it? House of Sky and Breath. I started this at the beginning of the year and I've made this much progress. I believe I'm 40% through, although kind of looks like I'm beyond that. I think I'm just like just under 50%. I like this. I don't love it. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but again, would be good to get finished by the end of the year. And then is there anything else? I'm reading Orbital by Samantha Harvey, which is the Booker Prize winner, but I'm hoping to get that finished by the end of the year, by the end of the month. So that should be featured in my December wrap up, my November wrap up. What is wrong with my brain? Earlier, my camera was like complaining about the fact it didn't have a memory card in it. So I was like, okay, I'll just go get my memory card. Like, where's my memory card? Oh, it's probably in my camera. And I was like, where's my camera? Your camera is right in front of you. You just saw that it had a message saying that there was no memory card in it. So why would you look for your memory card in your camera? And why would you be looking for your camera when you can see your camera? Like, I do not know what's going on with me, but yeah, I think that's it. Oh, the other thing I do want to say is I'm reading Clean Point. Can't remember the name of the author, but that is a tennis romance. I started that in the summertime and I just never finished it. But I found out that the audiobook for it is coming out on Spotify, I think the 22nd or 23rd of December. So I'm hoping to squeeze that one in and read it entirely via audiobook in the last couple of days of December, because I feel like I just want to start with like a relatively clean slate going into January and the new year. I'm in the middle of Anna Karenina and I don't think I'm going to get that finished before the end of the year. But having said that, I'm okay with that. But these books, like this one, this one, and then obviously Orbital, If We're Villains, and Clean Point hopefully should get crossed off the list. Probably at least a few from what I've actually set for my TBR in December. So here's a stack of all the books that are on my TBR for this month, excluding all the ones I'm actually in the middle of, excluding Spectacular as well, because I'm not sure they'll get to that. But yeah, I'm really excited about this stack. I think it's a really nice like range of things. I've got 2 fantasies, a non-fic and a lit fic. I'm like in such a fantasy mood. I just finished Iron Flame, and finishing that was the most satisfying thing because I've been in the middle of it for like the entire month. Also, I've been watching Emmy Rossum, I don't know how to pronounce her name. The way she binges books and gets through them so quickly is just so inspiring. It's truly like ripped me out of my reading slump, or my like, I wasn't in like a slump, but I was like in a bit of a funk with reading. It's like ripped me out of that and like launched me straight back into binging books, because that is what I truly want to be doing. Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, let me know that you did. Subscribe if you'd like to stick around and see if I get to any of these books throughout the month of December. I've got so much content planned for the end of December, beginning of January, which is all my end of month stuff, all my beginning of month stuff, and then all my end of year stuff and beginning of year stuff. So we're cramming. I'm going to be going back to having 2 videos per week on Wednesdays and Saturdays, because I'm not going to fit in all the content if I'm not doing that. But yeah, thanks so much for being here and spending time with me. I'll see you very, very soon in a couple of days for another video. By the way, I'm filming a vlog on If We're Villains, so if you're interested in that, stick around. Kind of same style as my New York vlog, but at home, not in New York. Pumps back in the jar.